Isn't this amazing? But to be fair, the changes are kind of nuts, so it's kind of cool. Let's see how they actually translate into 10.0.5. So the Druid core is also changing. Let's see what the devs have with the blue post. Hi Druids, we've got a number of upcoming changes to the core and spec trees coming in 10.05. Our hope is that they fix some underlying issues with the trees while still giving you the same options and overall builds you've gotten used to, which is actually good because, I mean, it's good that they're doing it. I don't know if what they're doing is going to be good. Since the Druid talent tree was always a little bit underwhelming in the way that it was designed, since there's way too much baseline stuff in it that every spec really needs, so there's a lot of things that you will always have to take, so they're not necessary options, like, you know, Sunfire, Starfire for balance. You're never not going to pick them. So let's see. One of our goals for the talent tree was to make it impossible or unlikely to pick talents that would do nothing for a character. Okay, that's good. Druid breaks that guideline in a couple of places. Feral can take talents that modify Berserk without taking Berserk. Okay. Guardian and Feral can skip swipe. Most players don't do these, but we'll still want to tighten this up. I mean, it would make sense, because then maybe we can have more options. Druid core tree. In the core tree, we've moved Wild Growth and Sunfire up, so they are among the first points. Yes. Yes. Resto and balanced druids take. Feral druids now start with Rake and Rip instead of Rake and Thrash. Okay, that makes sense. All druids now learn Swipe at level 10 at half its current damage. Okay, the previous talent to learn Swipe is now Improved Swipe, restoring swipes and Brutal Slash's current damage. We've rearranged the other talents and added connectors and a couple of new talents to give you some different options. Lastly, we changed Killer Instinct and Nurturing Instinct to grant 3-6% value for just 2 talent points. If I'm not mistaken, this was a 3 talent. Wait a minute. No, it wasn't. Wait a minute. So we have the Balanced Druid talent tree here. This is the reiterated one. So this would be the current Balanced Druid talent tree. This would be the new one. Especially we're going to be looking at the general talent tree. So, Feral starts with Rake and Thrash, but now that has been moved. Nurturing Instinct is a 3-pointer, and then Killer Instinct is also a 3-pointer. These have been changed to 2-pointers, and this is so much better. Jeez. Save the 3-pointers. The 2-pointers rather. Okay, Sunfire being way up is so much better because all the way down here was so silly. Because as a balanced druid, you would have to mandatorily go all the way here and pretty much here as well. There's only like one fight ever you would not take this in, and that's Terrace of the Raid, which makes no sense. It's only one fight. Every other fight has adds, meaning that these talents were always locked in. Obviously, you start with these two, so you don't really take these, but these were always locked in anyway. And then you'll probably have to take this anyway because it's just 6% more damage. So this frees up 1 point. And as you choose here, then you just, that's it. This is it. This is Improved Sunfire. That's still low. Okay. So you go all the way here. This is like the mandatory stuff. Maybe you want some utility or maybe some defensiveness. You'll probably take Frenzy Regen, Improved Bark Skin, Verdant Heart, and maybe go all the way to Decurse. Now you have some utility. This could probably be like mandatory boomy stuff, and then you'll probably have to go down there to like Kara's Teachings for the potential last throughput node. Yeah, we've rearranged our talents and added connectors and a couple of new talents to give you some different options. Lastly, we changed currency. Okay. Tuning changes. All druids are learn Swipe at 10. Swipe and Brutal Slash damage reduced by 50%. Killer Instinct changed to 2 points. Nurture Instinct changed to 2 points. New talent, Improved Swipe, increases Swipe and Brutal Slash damage by 100%, restoring it to the current value. So now you need 2 points for Swipe on Bear and Cat, and probably Resto as well, which is weird. New talent, Bro 8, Forest Walk 2 points. Casting Regrowth increases your movement speed and healing received by 5% for 3 and 6 seconds because it's a 2-pointer. A new talent, Gale Winds, increases Typhoon radius by 20% and range by 5 yards. This is nice. New talent, Incessant Tempest, reduces the cooldown of Typhoon by 5 seconds. So I'm assuming that these are these two that upgrade from Typhoon. Feline Swiftness icon has changed. Matted Fur icon changed. New connections throughout the tree. That's good. Wild Growth moved up. And removed scope moved to this. Removed curse moved to the side, which is all the way here. A lot more accessible since it's a core part of the Druid kit. Especially if you're playing Resto, you don't have to like go super down to get it. Sunfire moved up and Star Surge moved to the side. However, improved Sunfire is still kind of down there, which means that it's pretty much the same, I guess, is maybe one row higher than before. I do want to check balance. We'll take another look at Feral as well. We've reorganized the balance tree to address Solar Beam's placement to avoid forcing balance Druid to make a choice between utility and throughput. Yes, we talked about this before. It's so costly to take the Solar Beam. While addressing this, we wanted to make some changes to the overall flow of the tree and distribute more power to the later parts of the tree. Cosmic Rapidity. Cycle of Life and Death offered an interesting playstyle choice for balance. However, with balance's new mastery, the juggling felt much more intense and punishing. Cosmic Rapidity increases the rate Moonfire, Sunfire, and Stellar Flare deal damage without reducing their duration. To reduce how often balance needs to refresh the dots in order to benefit from mastery. Isn't this amazing for everybody that complained about the dots placement on balance? Which I guess that's definitely a subjective take. I didn't particularly mind it, but I can definitely feel how annoying it would be to constantly have to refresh the dots. That's not necessarily compelling gameplay, although it sometimes is nice to have something to manage instead of just like never having to press them ever, especially in AoE when you would just use Starfall to constantly extend them. I assume they've renamed it just so that it doesn't get confused with Cycle of Life and Death. Multiple rank adjustments. Yes. Talents such as Ethereal, Kindling, and Solstice didn't feel impactful enough to warrant multiple talent points to achieve their maximum value. The ranks that were removed from these talents were redistributed to other talents that felt appropriate to have multiple ranks. Okay. Lunar Eclipse no longer increases the critical strike chance of Starfire. Lunar Eclipse now increases the damage Starfire deals to nearby enemies by 50%. Okay, then maybe we can actually press Starfire in AoE. Umbral Intensity now further increases the damage Starfire deals to nearby enemies by 10 and 20%. Circle of Life and Death has been removed. And new talent Cosmic Rapidity, your Moonfire, Sunfire, and Stellar Flare deal damage 25% faster, but still last the same duration. This is really good because it obviously synergizes really well with shooting stars, because the faster you do damage, the more shooting stars you have, the faster you get your orbital breaker, a big full moon clash as well. Solstice max rank is now 1. Ethereal Kindling max rank 2. Power of the Cauldron max rank is now 2. Cosmic Rapidity replaced Cycle of Life and Death. Max rank is now 2. Now, what did they put? I think, is this it? Cosmic Rapidity. It has to be that, right? If we pull up the new talents, it is this. Okay. So it's a little bit earlier. This is where the old Cycle of Life and Death, Circle of Life and Death was. And this is where Cosmic Rapidity is. It's a little bit more accessible. And now Umbral and Blaze has been placed down. Jesus. And they're all 2-pointers. This feels like a gate. This reminds me, I don't know if Assassination still has the same talent tree, but Assassination had the second to last row all with 3-point nodes. This is 2-point nodes before you get to the bottom side. I guess if you're gonna have 2-pointers, might as well have them a little bit more central, so that if you do want to put points into them and you do feel like you need to put points in them, they unlock more options. So you can actually put Cosmic Rapidity 2 points there and get all the way down to Loons and so on and so forth. So maybe this is better, because then you get to the bottom side of the talent tree and there's a couple, only 2 nodes with 2 points in, and then it's just 1-pointers. So it feels good to get the mushrooms and stuff. And Astral Communion, both of these were swapped to the sides, it seems, and also placed down way lower. This is Astral Communion, this is Wild Mushroom. I don't know why they swapped. Maybe they talk about it, because Wild Mushroom is clearly AoE and Astral Communion is, I guess it's neither. But you would say that Resource Generation has historically been probably harder to do in single target than in AoE, and this is the single target part of the talent tree. So this is maybe something that I don't know if I completely completely agree with. Okay, so this is basically it. They definitely move things around, and if you do want to take Solar Beam, oh, you kind of have to take Solar Beam to get Starfall now. All right, so it's no longer mandatory. It's no longer a choice either. Warrior of Valone, Nature's Balance. This was there before. These are 1-pointers, which is really good. Stellar Flare. You're definitely gonna get Celestial Alignment. Likely it's still Primordial Primordial Arcanic Pulsar. During Solar Eclipse, Sunfire generates 100%. Okay. Umbral Embrace. Lunar Shrapnel. If you're gonna go AoE. Star Search has a chance. So, okay, this is where it's becoming a little bit confusing for me. This is single target. This is likely better in AoE. Because you have way more Moonfires and Sunfires out. This is how you can get some of that AoE damage. Then you're definitely going to want this to get to Orbital Breaker. During Solar Eclipse, Sunfire generates more Astral Power. During Lunar Eclipse, Moonfire generates more Astral Power. Astral Smother, critical strike chance from Sunfire causes the target to languish for an additional 20% of your spell damage. This is an extra dot, but this is 2 points. Ugh. Alright, so let's say you want Orbit Breaker because this is good all over the place. If you would try to build it the same way in AoE right now. Sundered Firmament is right there. Cauldron is single target, man. Okay. So is this what it would look like if we're gonna try to get the same type of AoE build right now in dungeons? It's looking particularly weird. You cannot get Primordial Arcanic Pulsar without taking Incarn. It just feels bad. I don't know if you're gonna take this. Maybe you can sack this for maybe Fury of Alone. All right, I'm not 100% sold on having single target talents on the AoE side and AoE talents on the single target side. Maybe they want you to go all the way here and then stop and then start to build here and get some mushrooms in. But this is also again single target, so I don't know. Maybe they should just go back to putting mushroom here, putting Cosmic Rapidity there and Cauldron there. Like, if this did AoE damage, it would make sense. But you're in AoE, like, how do you put a Star Surge talent node beneath Starfall talent points, talent nodes? Also, it's weird that this doesn't go all the way to Lunar Shrapnel, which makes it seem that they want you to go slightly here and then move all the way to the mid or to the left. Okay, well, this is a good change, I feel, in my opinion. And that's a good change. We have a bunch of the changes here to Typhoon that will make it a little bit more interesting to have some more expanded utility in dungeons. You'll probably still want to go something like this. Get some defensives. So, Forest Walk. Casting your growth increases the movement. This is the new talent, right? So I would imagine that without this, probably. Matted Fur. This might be. This is what it's probably what's gonna look like. Kind of mandatory Druid talents. I don't know about this side. It could mean for a lot of fun other builds, but it seems a little bit counterintuitive to have the talents placed out this way. I don't know what you guys think. Jeez.
I've been loving it then, I still love it now. Still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. Getting better every day, let me show you how. Cause still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. It's getting harder to stay, but at the end of the day, it's a guilty pleasure, so just log in and play. Whether it's classical retail, I'ma do a /bow. Still, I play WoW.